everybody? Welcome in to The Early Edge, your daily sports betting brand of record. We are powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all sports betting, and it's not close. As you can see, the friendly confines have been upgraded just a little bit. Our new official home for The Early Edge, for SportsLine, for all of our different shows. The ability now to not only do this show live, but we can now go live around the world. What do you guys think? Well, say I like it, Coach, or I don't like it. Put it into the chat. Write anything you want. But also, while you're doing that, I need you to hit that like button for me. Take the chat down, hit that like button, because if you want the goose tonight, and tonight's a very special goose, I need 500 likes to get there. Mikey is on assignment, so there will be no donkey tonight. But at 7:55, we will do our VJM. Again, another special night every time it is. And speaking of special, let's bring in the stars of the show. My crew, my team, my family. First and foremost, the man who has had to live with me bitching and moaning and complaining to get this done live from Nashville, Tennessee, 8 floors below. AB, good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, Sia, prop stars, everybody in the Early Edge crew in the chat. It's great to see you all. Coach, the studio looks fantastic, man. Did a great job.
All right. Thank you. Yeah. I actually built the entire thing myself. It's crazy, the talents that I have.
What can't you do?
Well, you said it. You said it. Next, from parts unknown, where apparently this afternoon on social media, somebody did find out where he lives. Didn't reveal it, though. Prop stars, good evening, sir.
Coach, what's good? Cousin Sia, AB, great to see everybody. Forgive me if I'm a little off my game tonight. It's been a blur the last few days. I've been in the club, posted up with the maestro, myself and Larry. It's been absolutely nuts in here. Can't just praise any more than what it's been like these last few days in the club. So I am riding high. I haven't slept. It's been incredible. Shout out Maestro. We've got bottle service, VIP, the whole 9 yards, boys. So yeah, I am living well, like a king, Coach, like a king.
All I needed was a good evening. That's all I needed. That's all I needed. Finally, he is the best looking man in all of the Early Edge universe. You can see him on first cut.
Oh, right.
Seeing his job. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. You know, it's funny. Alex, he'll call me like every 10 minutes, like when it gets like past 7 o'clock, and he simulates like club music in the background, and he pretends like, you know, I can't hear him very well, and he's like yelling into the phone like, hey, I can't hear you very well, and there's like all kinds of like trance and techno in the background. It's very strange, but Alex has immersed himself in this club culture, and I can't hate him for it. Clearly, I was that guy last year, so I get it.
You guys are savages. You're absolute savages. You're low. All right, I just got to move on or I'm going to drive myself absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. We got a game to get ready for. It's Thursday Night Football. Week 6 is starting here tonight. Now, sometimes some people, they like to frown. They like to be negative about a game and say, oh, I'm not going to watch that game. But, Alex, what do we call a game like tonight?
We call it a propertunity, Coach.
You're damn right we do. It's a propertunity. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do our best bets. We'll get into as many props as we have time for. So if you have a prop in question, put it into the chat. Put the juice as well. We'll get to as many as we can. Now, also the VJM and also the goose. So a lot to get to. See, I know you have a brand new best bet for tonight. So let's start with you.
Yeah, it is going to pertain to the rushing attempts for David Montgomery. I have him under 16.5 rushing attempts. You can still get this at various places, including FanDuel at -114. In other places, it's about -110, sometimes -125, depending on where you shop. But it's a good number here. So here's the thought. Okay, first of all, Washington absolutely can get exposed in the passing game. Not that I expect Justin Fields to be chucking it around the yard too much, but Washington's decent against the run, but more importantly, in the 3 full games that David Montgomery has played, week 1, he had 17 rush attempts. It's a lot. Week 2, before the injury, 15. Then he got injured. He came back last week and he had 12 rush attempts, but he did get most of the snaps. Khalil Herbert was almost entirely phased out. In those 12 rush attempts, he got 20 yards. We can all do the math on that. It is not a very good yards per carry. I have a feeling we're going to see a little bit more Khalil Herbert in this game. Frankly, even if we don't, he could still fall under this 16.5 rushing attempt total. But because I expect the Washington defense to be formidable against the run, and I expect David Montgomery to enjoy a similar yards per carry total like he did last week in terms of just not being that great, I could see a Khalil Herbert getting into this game a little bit earlier and splitting snaps a little bit more than he did last week, which was really a surprise how little he played. So give me David Montgomery under 16.5 rushing attempts.
There's always a way to attack a game. We tell you that all the time. It may not be the most glamorous, but guess where they don't tell you that a ticket is glamorous? That's right. The pay window. They don't care there. Now, other best bets that we've given out earlier in the week. The Maestro, he's on Curtis Samuel, over 4.5 receptions. Quick chat question. Let's come to Alex. Apparently, the number for Curtis Samuel, over 3.5 rush yards. Would that be right?
That would be right, Coach. That is correct. It's a very low number. We saw early in the season he was getting quite a few carries. However, Brian Robinson, who I'm going to talk about quite a bit tonight, has returned to this Washington Commanders lineup. He got the bulk of the carries last week. I expect that to repeat itself tonight. I actually expect him to have an expanded workload. As a result, Curtis Samuel got 0 rushing attempts last week. They have 2 other backs that they mix in as well. We know Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick. So to me, there's just not enough of a floor for Curtis Samuel, considering that the Commanders are rotating 3 running backs. So while there is a decent chance he gets a rushing attempt, to me, there's just not good enough of a chance where I feel comfortable making that a pick or advising people to take it as a play. So I'm staying away since we don't exactly know how the carriers are going to be distributed with Robinson back in the lineup tonight.
Well said, sir. Well said. And the eye contact. Oh, I was starting to jump back. You're getting so serious there on me. I love it. Now, the Maestro is also on David Montgomery under 63.5 rush yards. So that is in symmetry with yours, Sia. So that would make a lot of sense unless he has a couple of big rushes, as you alluded to. Then Zach Attack, he's on Cole Kmet under 29.5 receiving yards. And he's also on the Bears on the money line. It's been right around +1 even. Got to get them both ways depending on the book. All right. Quarterback whisperer. It is your turn, sir. What do you got?
Yes, sir. So, all right. So let's just take a look at this game for a second. I think that it's going to be decided, all right, at the line of scrimmage between the Commanders' defensive front, the Bears' offense, right? Like Washington can get after you, and we've seen the Bears and the issues that they've had with Justin Fields, his low pass attempts, running the ball, all of it, right? Like if they can't run the ball, we're going to see some serious trouble out of the Bears tonight. Now, my 3 picks that I have in this game, all right, first, we're going to attack Carson Wentz in 2 ways. First, I do think that he's going to throw touchdown passes tonight. So we're taking Wentz over 1.5 touchdown passes plus 145. Good money here. I think the Commanders are going to have a pretty good game tonight. And Carson Wentz is not as bad as people think. It just comes down to just that one kind of bonehead play that you see, right? Other than that, this man will throw 300 yards on you, right? Like he will put up yardage. So couple that with Ron Rivera basically saying publicly that he stinks. I think that Wentz is going to go out tonight and throw it around. And I think that the Commanders' offense in terms of play calling is going to want and allow him to do that. Now, that being said, we're also going to play Carson Wentz over half an interception because that's coming as well. But we're fine with that. All right, all good. We're also going to play Justin Fields over half an interception because of what we just laid out with the Commanders' defensive front. They're going to have this man running in circles, constantly just pressure all over him. And if they cannot run the ball fully and successfully, he's going to have to throw. They're going to have to do something. We should see 22, 28, somewhere in there in terms of pass attempts. Hopefully we get a couple more. But, yeah, no fly zone on both QBs tonight, and we're going Wentz over 1.5 touchdown passes.
So if we're playing Carson Wentz over 1.5 touchdown passes, then that tells me you think there's going to be at least 14 to 17 points scored for the Commanders. And so that means you think the Commanders will probably win the game, yes?
Yeah, I do. And, I know that, our man Jason Spector, he broke down earlier that he's on the under. And, look, I'll give you the best Chick-fil-A nugget you might get all season, all right? Unders are 76% since 2000 in Thursday night games with totals of 40 or below. All right. So I'll say that again. Totals of 40 or below are 76% to the under since 2000. So that gives you a huge number of games in that. That being said, I think that this game tonight's actually going to be pretty much, I think it's going to be better than people think. I think both teams are going to score. I think that I don't think it's going to be 60 points, but I kind of like both offenses here because I think the Bears are going to be forced to just say, screw it, let's go, right? So, yeah, like I think the Commanders win. I think that they score a decent amount, but I kind of like the game tonight.
Okay. I'm coming back to you, but I got to get to Alex and see it real quick. So think about the field goal numbers here, AB, because they're asking about it in the chat. Alex, let me come back to you, then see I'm coming to you. If based off what AB said, if we do have a mini shootout tonight, when you were in the lab, are there any players that you said, because last week you said spike game, and what happened? They came right out. I can't remember who you're talking about. It was like bang, 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 bang. Is there a spike game for anybody in this one tonight?
So I don't have an official pick for this game. I was hoping to have the chance to sort of break down why that is. When I broke down this game, I just found that there is a wide range of potential outcomes in this game. I could see this being a sluggish, low-scoring game. I could also see this potentially having some sneaky shootout potential as well. We're also dealing with two below-average football teams in the Commanders and the Bears. Both these teams, in my opinion, have also struggled to find an identity, particularly this Commanders team. Are they a running team? Are they a passing team? I do think Brian Robinson is going to help solidify things a bit, and they're going to lean on the running game if they can, if this game is competitive, which it should be against this Bears team. So when I just looked at this game, I just didn't feel comfortable enough kind of predicting how the game script would go. I also feel like if this game was on a Sunday and we had a full slate, this would probably be a game I avoided for that very reason. So I do have some leans that I like, and there are some potential spots that I like in this game, but that is ultimately why I don't have an official pick. As far as the Commanders' offensive players go, I really like Brian Robinson. I'm going to touch on that more. I also like Curtis Samuel in this game tonight. I think he's potentially in a spot where he could see a nice amount of volume. He's been the most targeted receiver for the Commanders so far this year. I expect that to be the case again tonight. We just haven't seen the chemistry really between Terry McLaurin and Carson Wentz yet. Also, Jalen Johnson, a very good cornerback for the Bears, will be returning to the lineup tonight. I expect him to likely shadow Terry around this evening. I think because of the fact that Curtis Samuel's A-dot is so close to the line of the scrimmage, he will get a healthy target share tonight. I like him kind of around, if you're looking at volume-based plays, over 4.5 receptions. I lean over on his yards as well. But I'm expecting this Commanders team to really put an emphasis on running the football, and we'll see a healthy dose of Brian Robinson. And if he's able to get going tonight, I could see him flirting with 12 to 16 carries tonight and potentially having a good game.
Chat comment from our girl Allison. Sick Black Sabbath shirt for sick, nasty. Now, let's talk about those quarterback numbers, because in the chat, Thomas says, I don't understand why Carson's passing yards are so low. See, let me come to you, because the number for passing yards tonight for Carson, 220.5, that's pretty pedestrian, but that's not absurdly low. But you go to the other side, Justin Fields, 171.5, and it's juiced to the under. Talk to me.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you only have 49 completions on the season. I mean, what are we in week 6 now? And they just don't throw the ball. It is sad, but true. I mean, here's the thing about the Justin Fields number, though. If he was going to do it, if he was going to hit the over, it would be in this game, because the Washington secondary can be exposed so easily. They give up so many explosive plays. You could really have 1 or 2 explosive plays from, let's say, Darnell Mooney, for example, to get really close to this over. So I don't know that it's a play for me. If anything, on the Justin Fields side, it's the over. I think the number on Carson Wentz is pretty efficient. I agree with where Allen is going with this game. I mean, I could see a scenario where Carson Wentz, in a revenge game against his own coach, by the way, where Carson Wentz really has a nice game against his secondary. Jalen Johnson coming back does complicate that a little bit. And I do think Washington likely plays it a little bit more close to the vest unless they have a deficit. I agree with Alex that it's probably more likely to be a Brian Robinson game than it is a Carson Wentz game. But that's the thing. This game is very hard to handicap. And it's partly because of all the weaknesses of each team. It's just a matter of what you're going to expose or what you're going to try to expose. Part of the reason I like Washington in this game, and it's a lean, it's not an official pick, is because their secondary is so bad, but that weakness isn't likely to be exposed by Justin Fields. So it's just one of those things where it's finally a nice matchup for Washington, where they don't have to worry as much about their back end because nobody's really afraid of Justin Fields in terms of throwing it down the field.
But he apologized. I mean, he apologized to Carson Wentz. Now, I know we don't use motivation a lot. I'm coming right to you, Alex. We don't use motivation a lot, but maybe Carson Wentz, by being called out, maybe that motivates him a little bit. Now, I know it may sound crazy, but. All right, AB, I'm coming to you next. Alex, what do you got, big boy?
Yeah, part of the reason Carson Wentz's yardage, his passing yards, is so low this evening is because when teams are playing the Bears, they're heavily weighted towards the run. The Bears have been a significant run funnel this season, so I do anticipate that being the case tonight. We've heard the talk about Brian Robinson's involvement and usage increasing in this game. We've also seen Carson Wentz struggle the last few weeks, especially when he's asked to throw the football. So in a game with a neutral game script, with a game that's basically a pick 'em, if you're looking at the spread, I really believe that Washington is going to try to run the ball as much as possible, limit Carson Wentz from making mistakes, because he's made quite a few mistakes when he's forced to air the ball out a lot. So I do expect a conservative offense tonight, and that is why we see his yards so low in this game. It's a combination of game script and because teams are choosing to run the ball, and they've been very effective, I might add, running the ball against this Bears defense.
Which would mean that on 3rd and 8s from the 32 or 3rd and 6s, we're going to see a run a lot of the time, which brings me to AB. A lot of people are asking about field goals and field goal props because tonight they're not crazy, but we may see several. What do you make of the field goal numbers that you handicapped?
Yep. So I'll tell you this, Coach, everybody, I've got good news and bad news for you. All right. The good news is that both of these teams are 100% on field goals this year. Both of them. None of them have missed a field goal. Here's the thing. Washington's only kicked 2. Like, they don't kick very many at all. So, and it's Joey Sly, which we know the history on this show using him. So I would avoid Washington at all costs. Now, Bears, 11 for 11, right? So I think if you're looking at that factor, that's probably your way to go. I wouldn't do it by kicking points. Usually that's, set at 6.5. If you're going to play it, do over 1.5 field goals, right? But yeah, like Washington is tough. Now, I say that, and they could kick a bunch of them tonight. It's football. It's a game. You never know. But this year, they've only attempted 2. I'd be careful of that.
All right. Very, very good. All right. Some of you are asking where Mikey is tonight and if there's going to be a donkey. He is on assignment. He is off the grid. And when one of my cappers is off the grid, we don't ask them to work. But there will be a goose tonight. So don't even worry about that. I still need to get to 500 likes. Where are we at right now on that? Where are we at on that? People being lazy again?
Yeah, I'll give you a number right here. We are at 275. So everybody right now, hit it. Yeah. Give them
How many are watching right now, AB? How many are watching right now?
930.
Come on. Take the chat down, hit the like button, put it back up, and keep talking trash on buckets, okay? That's what we do here at the Early Heads. That's what we love to do. By the way, did you guys see him this morning on the show? Did you see Buckets this morning on the show? That might be the last time you see him on the show. Might be the last time.
Can I say real quick, just to plug the Early Edge even more? I tailed, I think it was John Bowman's pick of Seattle. I actually ended up taking first 5, and I haven't even checked, but I'm pretty sure that bet covered. So nice job by John putting that out there.
They did in the first 5. They did not win the game. They were up 2-1, and then the Astros hit a 2-run home run. Alvarez again in the sixth to go up 3-2, and then they scored another one. They won 4-2, but your bet hit.
Alvarez is something.
He is something. And then they walked him in the last inning, and that caused another run. They walked him with a runner at first base. Let
me say this real quick. There's no team the last 9 years in Major League Baseball that has played the amount of playoff games that the Houston. Like, this is normal for them. Like, they are comfortable in all of it. Like, team total over 3.5 for the Astros. I'm just saying, like, it's a good bet every single time.
The hottest hitter in baseball too.
Yeah.
Lori in the chat says Buckets killed it today. He's lucky that it hit, and it hit in like the 50th minute. See, it was like there's nothing I can really say because everything he did was right. Everything he said was right. Everything he did was right. It just drives me insane. All right, we have about 5 more minutes, and we're going to do the VJM. We're going to do the Goose, but we're starting a little bit early today. So I need those 500 likes, and I need them right now. But see, I'm coming back to you because nobody knows the Commanders like you do. And McLaren has got the contract now. He's got the money now. but now he's got to start producing. His number tonight, I believe, is around 54.5 receiving yards. Your thoughts on him?
I don't love it. I mean, he can absolutely get there just on a few catches, but he just hasn't been a really big part of the game plan. And I think that's a little bit because of obviously the offensive line's not giving Carson Wentz time, but also just Carson Wentz limitations in general. I mean, I think he has hit the long ball to like De'Ami Brown, for example, just last week, but especially with Jalen Johnson coming back, it doesn't seem like a great setup for McLaurin. It's not a bet I hate in terms of the over, but I would be way more inclined to take what Alex suggested, what Maestro's bet is with the over 4.5 catches with Curtis Samuel. That's from a receiver standpoint, that seems like the safer play. As Larry mentioned earlier today, he's got a low ADOT. He's got very reliable targets in terms of actually catching them. And I don't expect that to change. He has been the leading target getter for the Washington Commanders this entire season. So I like that bet. I'd probably lay off of Terry McLaurin. If anything, if you're playing a showdown lineup or something, maybe you include him in there, but I don't think I'd put my money in terms of a bet on Terry.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Alex, let me come to you, because when I look at last week, and I know sometimes there's an outlier, but the Bears had the ball in the final 2 minutes with 22 points with driving to tie the Minnesota Vikings. Then it was a great play by Peterson. But when I look at the receiving core, there are 7 guys that Justin Fields connected with. Now, I know he threw for 208 yards last week. Was that a misnomer? Or did we see something that maybe this is the future? Spread it around and have confidence in him.
I was encouraged by Justin Fields last week. I thought he's played well. I think he's kind of played better as the season's progressed as well. He looks to have more confidence throwing the football. That being said, outside of Darnell Mooney and maybe Cole Kmet, we're really talking about lackluster wide receiver and tight end group. And he's also not going to be a high volume thrower of the football. We're going to see him play a lot of ball control offense, run the ball quite a bit with David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert, and Justin Fields runs the ball quite a bit as well. So I do like what I've seen from Fields. I'd actually lean over on his passing yards tonight, and I have been encouraged with his development this season as the season has progressed. That being said, there's just very low floor when we're looking at his target distribution. Even Darnell Mooney, who's his number one wide receiver, you look at his range of outcomes, and he could have one target for 0 yards, or he could have, 4 targets for 80 yards and a touchdown. So nothing I want to personally open a position in as far as passing volume or passing stats are concerned for Justin Fields, but I have been encouraged, and I have been encouraged with this Bears offense. They have looked good over the last few weeks.
All right. Very, very good.
Coach, you are at you have hit 500 likes. You are good to go.
We have hit 500 likes. So, yes, Alex.
Coach, I just wanted to touch on something real quick because I know we're almost done with the prop portion of the show.
Okay, take your time. Take your time.
The reason I didn't make Brian Robinson an official pick tonight is his rushing yards opened at 44.5 yards. His attempts, which I liked as well, opened at 11.5. His rushing line has, I think, steamed up over 54.5 yards, which is obviously quite a lot of movement. I don't think there's a ton of value there. I would have loved it at 44.5, and his attempts also moved up to 12.5. So unfortunately, because of that, I wasn't able to make it a pick. Had it stayed in that 44 to 46 range, likely would have made it a pick, but I do really like Brian Robinson tonight. As far as any props go, that would be my lean.
Sometimes the best bets are the ones you don't make. And as Alex always teaches us, the numbers are very efficient, especially on the primetime games. So 2 or 3 yards, they matter. Yes? They matter. Big time. All right. AB, we good to go? Yes? All right. So we're going to start a little bit early tonight. And there's a reason for this. For many of you out there, you've become part of the Early Edge family. You become part of the Early Edge universe. And you've built this show to a point where CBS is building me a studio, where we're getting ready to go on the biggest app in the world. We've grown so big because of you. But there's also one very important person who started this show, who was a huge part of this show, who was my right hand for 2 years on this show. And he's decided he's leaving, but for a very good reason. Let's bring him in, AB. Let's bring him in. He doesn't know we're going to do this, but we're going to do it anyway. The man himself, the jeweler, is here. No glasses tonight, jeweler. What's up?
No, I popped the contacts in. I'm at a little meet and greet function for, possibly with the new job, meet and greeting some people over there for that. So Yeah,
Okay.
shout out Old Mecklenburg Brewery here in Charlotte if you're around.
He's already doing promos for his new job. Now, Jeweler, you know how we all feel about you, but I'm going to make you stand there, and I'm going to make you listen to exactly what you have meant as you have helped all of us the last couple of years before you take things elsewhere tomorrow. See if you would like to start, sir.
Yeah, speaking of starting, when I started with CBS, my one and only producer was Jacob, actually, for the first cut, of course. And you have set quite the standard, my friend, for every other producer at CBS Sports and really everywhere else. So I appreciate you being so patient with me and helping me along in my journey. And congrats on the new gig.
No
Maybe.
patience needed. You're the best. Well, you're not the best. Everyone's the best.
That's
Fair
okay. Enough. You want to not offend Alex, and you won't offend AB with that. Don't even worry about it. It's okay. All right, AB, you're up next.
Yeah, man. Jeweler, we're gonna miss you, buddy. Like you helped me so much, not only with being on the show, coming in, integrating that. You taught me how to produce the show. You taught me how to do everything with this show, all of it. And let me say, you, Coach, and Noah are the people who understand that that's not an easy job of teaching me how to do something, right? So you did tremendous, man. Like from the bottom of my heart, thank you. We're all going to miss you. You are the absolute man. And yeah, buddy, like you're still always a part of this family. Like, but we're going to miss you, man. Yeah.
Oh, I'm in the group chat. I'm in the fantasy league still.
Alex, I know you've had a nice run with the Jeweler.
I have. This is a really bittersweet for me. Larry, the maestro, when he was recruiting me to join the SportsLine family, I was initially really, really reluctant. I wasn't interested in streaming or appearing on camera or anything like that. Finally, after beating me down, he got me to do it. And the Jeweler was one of the first people that I had any contact with at CBS. He was so helpful, so gracious, so kind, so patient, spent so much time helping me, guiding me. I would ask him so many questions. He would always make himself available. And yeah, he's just been such an important person for me to lean on. So while I'm extremely happy for him to have this great opportunity, I'm going to really, really, really miss the Jeweler. He's been such an integral part of my success at CBS, and I just couldn't have asked for a better person to sort of integrate me into the family.
Prop stars. There's a reason for that, and that's because you and I are the only cat guys on the team, which is confirmed to be a trait of a good guy.
It's very
cat
true.
Guy.
Couldn't agree more.
See, I don't like doing this because I'm like a blubbering baby all the time, so I'm not going to do it. But the reason I'm not going to do it is because I still get to work with him. I still get to work with him someplace else. So I'm very grateful for that. But it's not going to be the same here. So we decided to do something, Jeweler, and I think it's going to stick. If you're okay with it. Because we've had the Jeweler's Gym for 2 years, correct? And we can't really – right. So we can't really do that anymore because you're not producing the daily show. So what would you think if we did this, AB? What if we called the VJM, rename it the Gym? Your thoughts, sir?
I love it. I love it so much. And, I'm going to take credit for naming the show. So, that's also my legacy. So anytime, as long as the Early Edge brand is around, then a little part of the Jeweler is around too. But I love the Gym for the VJM. I mean, it's all great. It's beautiful. It's glorious.
All right, it is glorious. Now, so that's official. Now, Robert in the chat says, congrats, Jeweler. My man should still get a VJM pick every show. Make it happen, Coach. Well, since I call the shots, I would love it if you would still continue to try to get in the club despite the fact that Alex and the maestro are just sitting in there all by themselves.
Oh, I mean, look, everyone needs to be in the VJM club. I mean, if I'm not in there by the end of the year, I'm going to be severely disappointed. I could win the fantasy league, and if I'm not in the VJM club, then it's a terrible year.
Very good. All right, so it's official, and I think the chat agrees with the VJM has now officially been changed to the Gym starting tonight. So it is officially the top of the hour. And for those of you that waited until now, shame on you for coming into the show right now. But we're going to do the VJM, we're going to do the Gym right now, and then we'll do the Goose. So, Jeweler, if you don't mind, on your last official day here at the Early Edge and at SportsLine and CBS, I would love for you to make your pick first.
Well, look, obviously, as I click the link, I hear some Terry McLaurin slander coming out of Sia Najad. So that's who I am going to go with, simply because you can get him at 10-1 at BetMGM. I saw him like around 6-1 at other spots. I'm going to take it for the hashtag value, like I like. I mean, he's only had one TD this season. He's got to prove himself. Let's take Terry McLaurin to get the first touchdown tonight.
I learned my lesson because when you have star wide receivers that are at plus 1,000 and then you question said person at plus 1,000 and then they post their ticket that they bet at plus 1,000 to embarrass you on social media, who would do that?
I sent the screenshot to AB earlier, so
he did. Hey, he did. And also, let me say this. Jeweler is at a function of doing something, so feel free to hop out when you need to go. Like, dude, just thank you, man. Like, from all of us. Like,
thank you.
I'm a pop out. I disappeared. I didn't even tell him what I was doing, but
Love you, buddy.
Yeah,
love
we
you
love
guys
you, man.
too.
Be
See you,
good.
Jacob.
All
See you
right,
guys.
talk to you soon. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Jeweler. You have no idea how good that guy is. So good. It's crazy he's leaving, but it is what it is. It is what it is, and he's got to go. He's got to go. Now, we've got one pick in the VJM, and you know the rules. If you get into the club, then you jump to the front of the line, which I hate. But, Alex, you're up next.
I have been waiting for this moment, Coach, for so long, Coach. Finally, I've had to sit and listen to AB, sit and listen to Sia, sit and listen to Mikey, give their takes, always the last one. Finally, I jumped the line. I'm just going to enjoy this moment so much. And guess what? We're going back to back. Guess what else, Coach? I always take receipts. Coach. You should know that about me by now. Brian Robinson, I've talked about him all stream. I love this guy. I love his story. I think he's going to get potentially 12 to 16 carries today if the Commanders are able to effectively run the football. I like his anytime touchdown bet, which I'm going to touch on very shortly. And I love his first TD odds at plus 1,100. Give me Brian Robinson.
See ya. Technically, you're up next. Even though you haven't gotten the club this year, you do have a 3-time ticket, so you're up.
So annoying, but I guess I was that annoying last year, several times over. So relax there, prop stars. Okay, so here's the thing. Little known fact about me, and I'll make this super quick. But when I moved away from home approximately 20 plus years ago, at each Washington game, I would actually call my dad. To this day, I call my dad after every single touchdown. Literally every single touchdown. I call him. We just say hey to each other real quick. What a nice catch, whatever, and we hang up. That's it. That's a tradition that I hope to carry on for a very long time. The point is, if you extrapolate those, however many games that is over 20 years, and you multiply by approximately 2.5 touchdowns per game, no, that's not a liberal 2.5. I know it's Washington, but the point is, it comes out to around 950 phone calls to my dad. Let's round up, adjust for variance, 999 total. On this 1,000th call to my father, it will be the gem, the new VJM. It's going to be Curtis Samuel catching the first touchdown pass, otherwise known as the 1,000th touchdown catch that I get to call my father on because of a Washington score. Here we are. Here I am next to you, Alex. Let's celebrate.
See, not many phone calls this season for you, though, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's I basically don't use my phone at this point.
I was actually sitting here trying to figure out how do I dig him on that, and then you did it for me. Thank you, Alex.
I don't even have a plan on this guy.
AB, you're up.
Yep, and I'll tell you what, I'll go quick because we have a goose and picks to get to. I am going Justin Fields. I believe that the Bears take the ball down the field. He runs it in himself, does the job because he probably doesn't trust anyone else on that team. I'm going to go with Fields. And then Jake the Steak, Equanimous St. Brown. I have practiced that name all day today. There you go.
You actually nailed it. Now, if you could actually spell it, that would be a different.
No chance.
Altogether. All right, mine's going to be quick, too. So I just went back to last week, and I looked at all the names. I said, who did Justin Fields throw to a lot? Because I think the Bears are going to win the game. I think the Bears will score first. I think the Bears are getting a little bit better. So I'm going to go Cole Kmet. He likes throwing to me. He had 4 catches last week, over 47 yards, over 45 yards. And I think this week, at least one of those 4 in the first quarter will be in the end zone. And I can promise you, this is a promise, gentlemen. If I get in, I will be the most annoying gym winner of all time. That's a promise. All right, now we got 2 more things to get to. We got to get to the goose. Alex, I know you're ready. You're up. Go.
I am ready. Yeah, we're going with the goose. First up, we've got Brian Robinson, anytime touchdown. I love him. I like building these around anytime touchdown scores. He's my favorite bet tonight in that regard. Then we're going under 29 points for the Bears, under 30 points for the Commanders, over 125 passing yards from Justin Fields, and over 35 rushing yards from Brian Robinson. If he gets in the end zone, there is a very good chance that we cash the goose at plus 475 odds tonight.
Okay, so the other night when you said, what was the other night we needed an anytime touchdown score, and what was it?
We got it. It was Mark Andrews. Unfortunately, we needed less than, I think, 90 rushing yards from Josh Jacobs, who had a monster game. So we had, I think, 7 of 8 legs, but we got crushed on the 8th leg.
Oh man, all those people that always tweet at us, my 13-leg parlay. Oh, I lost my entire bankroll. What? All right, so these are our best bets. We're going to go around very quickly, and then what we're most looking forward to, then we're getting the hell out of Dodge. See ya, go.
Yeah, in a clock management time of possession game, I do like David Montgomery under 16.5 rushing attempts. That's particularly because he just generally doesn't get to that many rushing attempts. And I do think, contrasting last week, I think Khalil Herbert will get a few more touches in the backfield this week. So I like David Montgomery to stay under that 16.5 rushing attempt total.
All right, Zach Simony is on Colt. Zach Attack is on Colt Commit under 29.5 receiving yards. Then he's on the Bears on the money line. Our newest analytical talent, Commanders, Bears under 38 from Jason Spector. Maestro is on Curtis Samuel over 4.5 catches, and David Montgomery under 63.5 rush yards. AB, go.
Yes, sir. The no-fly zone is open on both quarterbacks tonight. Carson Wentz and Justin Fields over half an interception. And then we're going Carson Wentz over 1.5 touchdown passes at plus 145.
All right, I'm looking at the chat. Oh, Johnny says, let's go. I love Little Chippetto. Little Chippetto. Gotta love. Where's the donkey? JJ Nickel. Clearly, you just got into the show. I've said 3 times that M Squared is off tonight. He is on assignment. There will be no donkey tonight. If you're a SportsLine member, use the promo code early. I'll give you 30 days for free. You can get the donkey and the goose early. Well, donkey early. You can get his article every single day. All right. So we are getting to that time. And, like I like to end every single show asking my guys, what's the one thing they're looking forward to tonight? So you at home can then look forward and use it to your advantage, either tonight or moving forward. Sia, please start.
Well, what's to make of Carson Wentz's career? I think this is a culminating moment for him, especially after being called out by his own coach. And his coach did not mince words whatsoever. I mean, that was quite the statement from Ron Rivera. And Carson Wentz really has only one way to go. Otherwise, he's probably going to be out of this league or definitely a second or third string for the balance of his career. So Taylor Heineke, Sam Howell, they're on deck here. Carson Wentz needs to prove something. This is the most adversity he's probably faced in his career, given the coach's comments. So I'm hopeful that Carson Wentz puts up a W today.
All right, Alex, talk to me.
I am looking forward to seeing Brian Robinson again. This is going to be his second game of the season. I think there was some obvious rust making his season debut, coming off of the PUP list, missed the first 4 weeks of the season because of that carjacking. I think he's a tremendous story. I loved how he looked in the preseason. He was great at Alabama last year. I expect him to have a big game tonight, and if he does, I think we'll all be happy because there's a great shot that we hit the goose. And I get in ×2 into the club.
AB?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pull against everything of Prop Stars getting in the club again. We don't need this. You've created a monster here. I'm just kidding, Props. I love you. Look, Carson Wentz, say whatever you want about him. He is the anti-Kirk Cousins. This man has won 6 straight Thursday Night Football games. In fact, he's never lost a Thursday Night Football game. Number 2, Carson Wentz has covered in 7 straight primetime games. This man was built for primetime. Say what you want. We'll see if it goes tonight.
Do you realize that literally nobody has ever said Carson Wentz is built for prime time? That's never been said until tonight.
His parents don't say it.
Put it out of the show and put it all up there. Even what the early edge said tonight. Carson Wentz is built. He's built for prime time.
He's built for tough.
What?
There you go.
What? Oh, my God. All right. I'm looking forward to somehow the Thursday night football gods shining down on me and shining down on us. A fun game, a lot of points. I need the Bears to come out and look like Justin Fields looked like on Netflix 5 years ago. when he was in high school in Georgia, looking like a baller. I need him to look like that guy here tonight. But if you're going to take something forward from this, Brian Robinson. Brian Robinson, keep an eye on him for the next couple of weeks for a proper opportunity. All right. Once again, shout out to the jeweler. We've renamed the VJM to the gym. So long, big boy. Now, with that being said, there's only one. Oh, I love this new set. One thing left to do, and I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire crew, love them all. Seeing a job, the best looking man in all the early edge universe. Our 5-tool player, AB, and prop stars himself, the best props better in America. And it's not close. I'm the coach. Turn on those notifications. You don't miss one single second of our content tomorrow, 10 a.m., 4 p.m., and 4:30 p.m. for our prop extravaganza right here at the early edge. Good luck.